Continuing on from the previous vlog, left Houston, got into Brackett area of Texas at around 1:15, 1:30 a.m. Made the decision in advance to take a shower and hit the gym in Houston before making the drive, knowing I probably was not going to check into a hotel for this first night. I knew it was going to be such a quick turn, I'd rather just park at the location for our first setup. Doing a sheriff ride along this morning, and I just set it up. First time for me. DSLR shooters are gonna laugh at me, mirrorless shooters, but it's the first time I've output HDMI with my FX3. Got the menus off, dual display, because I'm thinking if we get held up and behind schedule, I may have to do a live shot from the FX3 versus coming back to my van and setting up the FX9. And it all works and it passes audio. Next I'm gonna test Rode Wireless Go. And then I've also got a hardwired lav. Where is it? In here. My Go bag, ND filter, batteries and media, card reader, a brick for charging my cell phone, focus. And the Rode Goes. I have a hardwired lav. I have the Rode, I'm sure I got it, stick mic. And then, what's this, one more thing. Oh, I'm gonna throw in a Sennheiser XLR hardwired stick mic as well. 4-day assignment in Kinney County, Texas, which is down near the border, covering the migration, human and drug trafficking problems that have been surging last couple of years in Texas. First up's a ride along with the sheriff, and I just brought along my FX3 package. First time taking this out in the field to shoot news. Looking forward to the digital zoom and active stabilization. I'm all sad this morning when I realized that bump I hit last night that I thought was a rock. I think it was a tortoise. Blood splatter all over the back of my van. And after breakfast this morning, a little prop from a crime scene, extra property bag, and that would be human blood. In addition to working with the sheriff, we also rode along with a deputy constable from Galveston County. Now, if you're familiar with Texas, Galveston is up near Houston. That's about a 5.5-hour drive from the border. Galveston County has several deputies from the sheriff's office and constable's office down along the border helping to support and reduce human trafficking, sex trafficking, drug trafficking, and illegal immigration. Captured a little bit of B-roll on my phone. These were just opportunities that came up spontaneously. We were doing a little pit stop and refueling, so I didn't have my big camera with me. I left it in the unit. Ended up not using any of those in the package. I had plenty of B-roll from the FX3, so instead, here they are in the vlog. 05:30, clocked out at 22:30 last night. Long day, news gathering, and then I went back to the hotel and did some editing. Starting off with, we have a hit at 6:05 this morning in front of the sheriff's office. So I'm set up here. I haven't powered up my key and fill light just yet. Camera's up. TVU is not. I'm gonna call in about 5 minutes, do a feed test. Running an Oscar Tech Lab this morning with my gray windshield. And I got a backlight on a C-stand. Tell you, I think this is the first dark morning I've had setting up with the van. Now that I get the overhead lights in, so nice having work lights. Should have done it years ago. And also, very happy with the cot size mattress, giving me all of that room in the back to stage kit. I've got my run bag here from news gathering yesterday, TVU, my luggage that goes in and out of the hotel. Every morning I take all of my kit out of the hotel as if I'm checking out, just in case things change and we don't want to backtrack to the hotel. It's a 35-minute drive from my current location. And then I got this empty tool bag just staged for if I got to run into city buildings or something to do interviews. I can throw a couple of kit stands and newer panels in there. In addition to this run bag, I've got this set up for B-roll and just kind of news packages. I did everything yesterday on the FX3, worked out pretty well. Road Go mic. I was getting some buzzing interference, I think when the Rode transmitter is on the hot shoe. I got to figure that out. I think I remember reading a little bit about interference issues online, but it was okay. We'll see. It'll be my first package airing this morning off the FX3. 5:45, Allie just rolled up. She's getting ready. Got the tunes running. Just powered up the TVU and they already found me, so I don't have to call in. Maybe I do. It says live, but it says ready, not streaming. I'll give them a call.
Tom, thank you. Now to a News Nation exclusive. Law enforcement along the southern border is dealing with more high-speed chases, often in pursuit of smugglers doing the work of Mexican cartels. And police in Texas say they are seeing more of them end in tragedy. News Nation has been covering these criminal organizations for months. Our Cartels in America series has exposed everything from how the kingpins run their empires to fueling America's drug crisis. Since the beginning of 2022, there have been more than 60 cartel-related busts across the country, with at least 300 people arrested or charged. News Nation border correspondent Allie Bradley is live in Brackettville, Texas, with a story that you will see only here on News Nation. Good morning, Allie.
Hey, good morning, Mitch. It's happening just far too often here. We're talking about those deadly pursuits that are being orchestrated by the cartels. And of course, it's upending communities. It is ruining lives here. And these are the tags that are being put on the bodies after these deadly pursuits to actually prioritize who needs care. And the cartel really doesn't care who gets hurt as long as they get paid.
They're being taken advantage of. They're being promised a better life.
The cartel is dangling freedom in front of undocumented individuals, but it comes at a cost.
We're going to get you to St. Louis. You're going to have a good job. You're going to be able to have a house and kids and blah, blah, blah. So they're buying into the story hook, line, and sinker. And then this is where they end up.
Kinney County, Texas has been a hotbed for human and drug smuggling, and it's getting deadlier and perhaps more desperate.
So DPS got on him. He decided he wanted to run.
This crash, an example. The driver from Missouri taking Texas DPS troopers on a chase Saturday, topping speeds of 100 miles an hour before crashing through a fence.
Yeah, when I saw him first leave the highway, I thought he was going to go head first into here.
The truck hitting a tree and flipping, ejecting everyone inside. The driver, who is now facing charges, is missing after checking himself out of a hospital.
He needs to go to jail for life after killing 3 people and injuring the other 5.
A similar scene played out in Kinney County just 4 months ago when a suspected smuggler tried to avoid spike strips during a pursuit. 4 people died.
If they didn't run, we wouldn't have to chase them because obviously they're committing some type of felony. So I'm not going to let a felon go.
Border Patrol and other sectors also warning migrants of the dangers of crossing, saying smugglers don't care if they live or die.
And this all comes as DHS is preparing to implement a new pursuit policy, which prohibits agents from actually engaging and chasing any of these vehicles that are trying to evade from them. Now, when I talked with Sheriff Coe and also some of my sources with Texas DPS, they're saying that they're pretty concerned here what that might bring. They're expecting a surge of people once that happens, and they hope that it will level out after they deal with that. But that is something that they're dealing with here ahead of the end of Title 42. Adrienne?
Yeah, Washington needs to get busy on what they're going to do next. Thank you, Allie. Speaking of Washington, another challenge
Doing a little editing in the van, well reclined in my bunk. Get the exports running right now, and then I gotta get better cellular signal to do the upload to the station. But here's the package I cut last night. It's a minute long. Took me about 2 hours last night. Actually, the first version was maybe an hour and 30 minutes, and then they changed the script. We had to redo the VO, and the V2 took about 30 minutes, and I would say half of that was exporting and uploading. And then just now I put together a B-roll elements reel for the digital department. I just stretched out all my B-roll, and then I included the B-roll shots that I didn't use in my edit. I actually found a couple good shots I didn't use in my edit because I had like long rolls because I didn't have my headphones on, so I couldn't hear what Allie and the sheriff were talking about. So I was like, I should just roll through all my repositioning just in case they say something good. And in that process, rushing and being on like hour 12 or 13 last night, I missed some of that B-roll that was in the long roll. So anyway, I found all that, put it in here for digital, and then we also Stretched out the full interview here with the sheriff. It's about 8 minutes long. So I've got those two exporting. My next live shot's in a little over an hour. I got all my kit staged out there. With the AC running, it's a little over 80 degrees Fahrenheit, despite my dash saying it's 63. Got batteries charging, inverters on. And my last two meals have been at the gas station, Laredo Taco. And there's the evidence. It's starting to weigh on me. Only salads the rest of the week.
Yeah, hi Mitch. It's just happening way too often out here. We're talking about these deadly pursuits that are being orchestrated by the criminal cartel and costing a lot of lives as well. So this is actually one of the tags that is put on the bodies after these deadly pursuits that shows who needs prioritized care. And the cartel doesn't care who's getting hurt in these crashes. They only care if they get paid.
Vice was in town, same as us. This is the Showtime crew. 2 cameras, one operator is from Tulsa, Oklahoma, the other San Francisco. They're running FS7s with, I think, Canon mounts, L series lenses. Chatted with them a little bit. Good people, pretty mellow. I'm curious to see their piece when it airs. We're back to news gathering tomorrow, no live shots. Testing out the cart a bit more. Find the longer I stay in this business, the less my gear and bags look like film gear and bags. So the Walmart tool bag is the news gathering kit and live view and the Harbor Freight $30 case. This is my editing package and the carry-on roller, and then I've got my personal luggage here, my gym shoes, which is my next stop, battery chargers, and dead batteries. New day, started out riding around with Sheriff Coe. He brought us over to town cemetery where they've got 3 Medal of Honor recipients buried. Hopefully we'll get to do a story on that sometime in the future. Here's some more cell phone B-roll that didn't make the edit. I think this was another pit stop at the station. Walked outside and everyone was chit-chatting. So I was like, oh, this could be a good voiceover cover. Let me just get a couple different angles. But then when I got to our actual story edit that night, we had enough content. Just had a police chase through town, riding along in the front seat. Whew. My heart's still racing. That was fun. We did a little off-roading. Got a Dodge Charger. Running from state troopers, sheriff's office, constable, a bunch of different units from different agencies, part of Operation Lone Star. And then all of the migrants bailed out of the vehicle and ran. I think they caught everybody. 3 here, a bunch more made it across the park here. And they got them on the other side of the buildings, a block over. I ran over there and got a couple of shots. But this camera turns out it's probably the perfect tool. Again, actually a little handy cam with a longer zoom lens probably would have been better, but the digital zoom with the 24-70 shooting in 1080 mode has been working out quite nicely. There's my ride right there, the white pickup.
I'm on Spring Head Melon.
It's going to be that white Audi that they've been putting out, and then it's going to be a red vehicle, paper tags. That's it. That's all I got.
Back at the sheriff's office, just backing up the footage. I got to do the edit tonight, but I'm going to hand off the card to Allie so she can select the sound bites and put the script together. I'm going to go back and start subclipping. Yep, no good deed. I loaned my Jeep and my air compressor to my sister, and now I need to put air in this rear. I don't know if it's got a leak or what the hell's going on. Must have a leak. And this gas station pump, I put $4 into it, and I don't think it's putting any air into my tire. Or 30 PSI is all I'm gonna get. I need 80. My day today started at 0900. It is currently 23:51. I did have about 2.5 hours off. I went to the gym and had a dinner at a restaurant, but just finished this edits. And I'm gonna play it back one last time before I upload it for approval. But if there's a change, I don't know. I'll figure it out.
It's happening on a daily basis. Load vehicles going straight through small border communities like Bracketville, Texas.
Hold on, guys. We're going to go off-roading.
In this instance, the driver wasn't undocumented.
4:30 in the morning. I got a 45-minute drive to our live shot. We're up at 0620. Actually, it's now 0500. Had one soundbite change on the edit, so I'm exporting that right now. It's about 350 megs. I want to upload it on the hotel Wi-Fi because my hotspot out in the country is not going to be fast enough. A lot of stars up there. No ambient light. This road has two purposes: access for ranchers and a major human and drug trafficking corridor. So we're gonna do a live shot out here this morning. Our 6 o'clock news is gonna be before the sun rises. There's that ranch gate right here on my right, so I'm gonna repo the van to light up the gate just so we have some kind of backdrop for our first. And then for 7 o'clock and onward, there'll be some light.
You know, it really is. It's just...
Meanwhile, Mexican cartels continue to take advantage of desperation of those trying to reach the U.S., those smugglers racing through really narrow areas near the southern border with little to no cell service, no GPS, making it much harder and much more dangerous for law enforcement to catch them. Border correspondent Allie Bradley is live in Spofford, Texas, getting an exclusive look at what it's like patrolling that desolate region. Allie.
Yeah, you guys, it's something you don't often think about. We have our cell phones, we have access to GPS, to all of those different things that technology allows for us. But imagine losing all communication, being in one of the most dangerous places along the southern border. If you go about a mile that way or about a mile that way, that's exactly what happens. This as pursuits are going through these areas on a daily basis. Bail, they're bailing.
It's happening on a daily basis. Load vehicles going straight through small border communities like Bracketville, Texas.
Hold on, guys. We're going to go off-roading.
In this instance, the driver was an undocumented individual from Honduras with a pending smuggling case. He was transporting 2 migrants from Guatemala and 1 from Mexico.
Yep. And they just...
It's so fast.
Yeah, it's so fast.
All of the occupants were apprehended right by the elementary school.
We got all 3 of them this time. Doesn't always happen that way.
And while law enforcement here say they never know what to expect during a stop,
it definitely is like the wild, wild west down here.
They always have to prepare for the worst.
Well, when you hear that beep, that means we are out of service.
Deputy Felicia Gonzalez, like other law enforcement officials working in some of the most dangerous areas along the southern border,
you'll lose your GPS, so all your internet, all that will go down.
Is without any way to call for backup.
I'm out here in no man's land. I am 100% on my own.
Deputy Gonzalez tries to radio to dispatch.
You have no guns, no weapons, drugs, anything? No reason to have anybody in the back of the trunk or anything? Okay. Do you mind popping it open for me?
No one can hear her. She's out on a traffic stop with an individual who reportedly has violent tendencies. In another stop just minutes later.
Okay, do you have your gun in the vehicle?
I do.
Again, without radio communication or backup, Deputy Gonzalez is on high alert.
Your hair just sticks up on the back of your head. There's just a telltale sign you've just got to pay attention to.
Deputy Gonzalez says she signed up for deployments to Kinney County under Operation Lone Star from Galveston in order to make a difference amid the nation's growing immigration crisis. But at the end of the day, she has one goal.
Person that's, smuggling the people, their whole goal is to make that money, and mine is to go home at night.
Gosh, we were sitting in that car listening to Felicia, trying to radio to dispatch, and it was just such a hard feeling not being able to help her. And that's one of these feelings that a lot of these deputies and law enforcement have, is this feeling of helplessness out here. And what they tell me is that they really try to work together. They try to work in tandem when they're out here, so they do have somebody to back them up if they end up in one of these really desolate areas. Back to you.
All right, thank you very much. We're going to continue this conversation. Ohio Congressman Warren Davis.
Kinney County. And if you go about a mile that direction, a mile that direction, or a mile that direction, you're going to lose all radio service, all communications, basically be out here in a black hole. And that's what these law enforcement individuals are dealing with on a daily basis.
Dartis's umbrella, it's working great. Used it a couple times now. There's a sun flag, quick deployment. I love it. I want to move 100 yards down the road here and look back at this intersection, but I'm right on the edge with cell signal. I have to put the TVU up 8-9 feet in the air to get stable bit rate. 7:30, we got our next hit in 40 minutes. I got somewhere between 3 hours and an hour and a half of sleep last night. I don't really know. I was kind of delirious and editing and rushing and stressing to get that edit out so I could get some sleep, have my brain all fired up. Oh, love having a bunk. It's gonna get up to 90 today, but it's in the low 70s right now. It's quite nice. Hour and a half till the next one. Repositioned a little bit. We'll have to move the rental car for this hit. Switched over to the apertures. Oh, I forgot to put the lens on this one. Shoot. I'm gonna start with one. These things work great. Totally adequate for what I'm doing. It's just a lot of work, setting them up, taking them down, setting them up multiple times a day all by myself. And when I airline travel, having to power off of 2 bricks versus 1 is just more batteries to carry on. So. And the micros are a little bit softer source with some different diffusers, which again, I can diffuse these, but it's more bulky items to carry around. All right, TVU's up in the air to get a stable signal. Doing a tape layout right now for my MacBook, all the raw footage from the package, well, not all of it, some selects for the digital department. And issue. The last time I did this, it was a previous Mac OS, and I could set it to output 1080i. New version, I forget whatever the current is, no longer supports 1080i. I don't have a decimator with me. So annoying.